So this is going to be my Season 3 updated Magik guide. I've been playing this character basically since the game came out. I've learned a lot of things about this character, and a lot of things that you need to know about this character I don't really see in other videos. Yes, obviously there's the combos and how the character actually works, but a really big part in being successful with Magik is knowing how to use her, how to approach a fight, how to read the opponent, knowing what matchups are favorable to you, little technical tricks about her kit and things you can use to your advantage. Magik really is a character that can take over a game. She has very good carry potential. She's good on PC, but she's also really good on console for console players. So this is going to be your one-stop shop for everything Magik, her combos, how she works, but I'm also going to show some in-game footage to show you how to approach a fight, what type of positioning, game sense that you should have, even different settings that are optimal with Magik, and certain team comps that are really not favorable to Magik. Sometimes being a good Magik main means that it's not the best time to play Magik. I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking about the combos because I feel they're pretty well known already. The character's been out long enough, but I'll go over them briefly here. Most of Magik's combos centralize around her dash. You can charge up a shot and then hit her dash, regular attack, and then go for the melee. Next, you can actually charge your sword or projectile, throw it, and immediately dash. The timing can be a bit wonky when pulling this off, so just practice with it. If you don't see a good opportunity to go for this, you don't really want to waste your cooldowns and leave yourself vulnerable, but if you see a golden opportunity and catch someone standing still, you can almost instantly kill somebody. This next combo is one you're going to have to practice a lot and burn into your brain. You're going to want to go for a portal, and as you spin, you dash in. This is going to be one of your bread and butter combos in order to get a pick. Brawling on the front lines, you can quickly assassinate a backline healer or squishy. There's also different variations of the dash combo you can do, like you don't have to lead with your projectile, you can land your combo and then throw your projectile at the end. There's some up close combos you can do. One of them is going for main attack, melee, projectile, then transition into your dash. If the enemy repositions, you can portal, you have a few seconds, and then go for the dash. Usually they're not going to be able to heal that quickly. Then obviously there's the option to place your demon beside an enemy or a squishy and then react to whatever they're doing. Throw out some melee attacks and throw your dash out depending on where they move or try to dodge. The two biggest mistakes I see Magik players make: inconsistency or obsessing over your dash, and playing way too aggressive, overextending. Those are the two biggest things that's going to kill you as a Magik. Now, just to go over her kit itself really quickly, as I'm sure some of you know already, Magik has the ability to steal life. This is arguably her best ability because she is not tanky at all and can die very quickly if you don't pay attention. But this ability alone will allow you to stay in the fight. Sometimes you can even hold the mission area on a 4 or 5v1, and over time I've done this many times. You can even square up with tanks, and even sort of act as a pseudo tank if you only have one tank. Next is her portal that can do two different things. You can drop your demon, or you can do the twirl. Dropping the demon's what you're gonna do most of the time since it does a ton of damage and gives you a lot of life back. It is also a phenomenal tool to place at doorways, pinch points, placing it in an area where the enemy has to go through it, especially in a really close fight, because every little bit of health you get back is going to make a huge difference. But you actually have to aim where you want your demon to go, otherwise it's not going to attack in the direction you want. Secondly is your twirl attack, and besides using it in combo with your dash to get a pick and start a combo string, you're really not going to use this all that much unless you're trying to get a quick final hit and cover a wide radius. This move is especially useful when an enemy's basically at 0. You just need that final hit to KO them. Also, try to keep in mind there's no rush. Once you use her portals, whether you're going to use the twirl or your demon, you have a few seconds to decide. Sometimes you can use your portal and actually reposition a little bit, take a couple seconds and aim before you use your dash. You don't have to click the dash right away. It's not instant, but a lot of people make this mistake. Focus more on actually paying attention to where you're dashing rather than trying to rush it quick, and you'll get more consistency, then the speed will come with time. As for using her regular attack and throwing in a melee every time, it's honestly not the end of the world if you're not doing it every time. If the fight's hectic, if you're trying to pay attention to what's going on, focus more on actually landing your hits and your sword strikes rather than having to do a melee every time. If you're thinking about it too much and obsessing over it too much, you'll find yourself actually throwing out melees when you don't actually need to. Speaking of her actual basic attack, it does have a damage drop-off if you're further away. So obviously the closer you get, the more efficient you're gonna be. And like I said, in a close fight where everyone's HP is running low, the difference will be being up close rather than further away. But at least you're able to still get some hits in at a little bit of a distance. Now, as for Magik's actual settings, this depends on the player. I play on console, so for me personally, the whole point of Magik is you want to be able to turn around and go up and down fast enough. And on both accounts I have Magik set up at over 200 sensitivity in every way. Usually at about 225 or 250. You can go a little higher or a little lower depending on what you like. Personally, I would turn it up a little bit more than less. Get used to actually having it a little bit more sensitive because you're going to want to be able to track your enemies. Personally, I recommend going in the practice range down below. Pick a character, have them move around, and then up the difficulty as you get more comfortable practicing her movement, her demons, your twirling dash combos, and all your other combos. Don't worry, we're gonna talk about flyers later in the video, but now let's go over her ultimate. People really misunderstand Magik's ultimate. It is so blatantly obvious when you're fighting a Magik that doesn't know how to use their ultimate properly. If you're not careful with Magik, you will get melted, and I mean melted. She doesn't have incredible vulnerability like Penny or Cap. You have to land consistent hits, know who you're targeting, and pick the right moment to use it. Take control of the chaos. Don't try to just solo ult, you're gonna get fried. In her regular stance, your demon's gonna be the main thing you're gonna want to do out of your portal, but it's the complete opposite for her ultimate. You're gonna try to twirl as much as you can, hit as many people as you can, and then lead that into a dash. You're pretty much gonna almost instantly KO people doing this. And it's gonna happen so fast, they're not gonna be able to react. I have killed so many supports or like a Namor before they can use their invulnerability move to get away, literally before they even have time to react. You're more or less not gonna use your demon at all in this form. Unless there's a rocket amplifier or something on field you want to destroy, then yeah, drop a demon is going to melt that amplifier so quickly. Besides that though, you just want to twirl, hit as many people as possible, but you obviously want to be targeting the squishies. You don't want to waste your duration on the tanks unless you're about to get a quick pick on a tank. You have to use your judgment call quite a bit on Magik's ult, and it takes some time and practice. There's gonna be times where you botch it, it's inevitable. This still happens to me, it even happens to the best Magik players out there. And a lot of the times using her ultimate is going to trigger the enemy team's healer ults. That's good, that's fine. When that happens, try to kill who you can, but don't get yourself killed. Magik can also kill out of a healer ult. Charge up your projectile sword fully, launch it, and then do a dash. You'll kill a healer right out of their ult. I wouldn't pop Magik's ult to try to counter a healer ult, but if a healer uses their healer ult to counter your ult, then I would try to go for it. You can completely change the momentum of the game by doing this, if you're able to land it. As for flyers, you're not going to be able to kill them either in your ultimate or regular form by just charging up a projectile. It doesn't do enough damage on its own, and the cooldown is too big. An Iron Man will fly away or get healed by then. What you need to do is hit your dash combo if you can, if they're close enough, or just dash in their vicinity and then use your twirling attack. You'll actually be able to hit them. Sometimes even putting a demon up on their level in the sky like a Human Torch or a Storm can be an absolute nightmare for them, and they won't even realize it till they're dead. One thing I've learned from playing this character for months now is when you're having a good game and you're carrying, the enemy team will recognize this, they will start countering you, and they will counter you with the same characters. Obviously, anti-dive's a common counter for Magik, but flyers as well. If the enemy team switches to flying characters, you're doing something right. But this kind of goes without saying, if the enemy team counters you, is specifically now countering you if you're having a good game. Don't be too stubborn to switch. Sometimes being a good Magik player is knowing when not to play her. Trying to force her into flyer comp or a good penny or some anti-dive is just going to be a recipe for disaster. It's not to say that you can't, but if it's clearly not working, then it's time to switch. This is probably a good time to talk about her team up really quick. It's a pretty effective team up. I've been wanting a new team up for Magik for months, and it's really effective because it can be used in a lot of applications. How it works is you actually got to target one of the characters. You'll probably be in their back line with the two healers. The more they try to separate, the more damage it'll do. This is a good time to either pull off one of your combos or place a demon, trying to get a pick while accumulating some HP for yourself. This can also be a really nice tool for characters trying to get away. When you're starting to push the enemy team back and someone's trying to flee, somebody with good mobility, you can stun them and trap a couple characters after your team's winning a fight. Maybe it's a Thor that's trying to bail after they lost a fight. I'll be honest, I've been playing without this team up for so long that sometimes I forget I even have it. Which is good, I don't rely on it too much, but it is a really effective tool, especially in this season, with a new character like Angela that can peel. Now, one of the more common mistakes I see Magik players make besides using their ult wrong is actually approaching a fight. Magik can be one of two things: an incredibly hard character to kill that can hold point, just survive, but she can also be a character that gets melted in an instant. There are going to be games where you're playing good supports or triple support and they're dialed in. They melt you in an instant. 80 to 90% of the time you should be playing Magik like a brawler, not an assassin dive character. She's not like Black Panther or Spider-Man that has incredible speed or peeling ability. You actually have to pick and choose your opportunities carefully. Before you go rushing in, analyze your opponents, their strengths, their team comp, brawl with your tanks, help them get a pick on their tanks potentially. Are their tanks overextending? Are their DPS taking care of their healers? Magik is about assessing the situation and then going in for the kill. Magik can be brawling with the tanks 1 minute and then completely dip into the backlines and get a pick. That's what's so great about her. And her cooldowns are fairly short, so don't be afraid to use her cooldowns to move around for the mobility, and don't expect to get heals too often. Play to the health packs and don't overextend. It's better not to die than get a pick. Getting a pick is a nice asset for your team, but dying trying is worse. There's a lot of matches I have in domination or just on defense where I'm brawling for like 2 minutes straight. I'm not dying, I'm doing damage, but I'm not getting final hits. That's okay. I literally had an MVP game yesterday where I stalled out in domination long enough and got the MVP. I barely died that game, but I did go through droves where I didn't even get final hits, just stalling and trying to survive with her portals. If you do enough damage and survive, you'll gain enough health back so that your teammates can return to the fight. She's obviously more optimal on offense as well, because on offense on Convoy, you can go for a risky pick and die, you're going to respawn right away. On defense, if you die, your team's gonna have to hold them in spawn short-handed. On defense, you should play very passive until the enemy team pushes out, then you can dip into the backlines and try to harass them, get a pick. And obviously playing with two tanks is the optimal way, especially if one's a dive like Venom or Cap. This allows you to do so much more, as they can distract and take some focus. If you're playing with one tank, then you might have to play somewhat of a pseudo tank. Magik is very good at brawling and surviving, so you can play somewhat of a pseudo tank. In this match, we only had one tank, Captain America, and the enemy team had two flyers. Actually, I think the enemy team had a Venom as well. So I basically hung back with my healers, and we won the match easily. If I played way more aggressive, we probably would have lost. And I was able to get MVP that match too. And it wasn't really even a good match for me. I missed a lot of my dashes. I was missing some combos. It didn't matter. I played smart. Speaking of how to play her, if you do find yourself getting into the backlines, sometimes burning all your cooldowns to get a pick isn't the way. I like to place a demon down and swing the sword. Placing a demon not necessarily where they are, but where they like to retreat to. There's certain spots that healers feel safe backing into, like this Jeff the Shark. Sometimes I don't even have to use one of my cooldowns. I can save them for peeling or the next combo. Sometimes it's about feeling the enemy team out in their backline and seeing how they react before you go for the dash. And sometimes if you're playing like a Loki or an Adam Warlock, you want to bait out that soul bond, bait out their abilities, almost kind of bluff going for a pick, then you can retreat and then go back again once they're cooling down. This can be incredibly useful, but this is something that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. That's more or less how you're going to approach a fight with Magik. It's kind of trial and error. You have to use your judgment. Sometimes your teammates are scattered, no one's playing as a team, everyone's kind of all over the place. You kind of got to use your judgment. It's better not to die, even if you're not getting picks, rather than feeding and dying non-stop. As for little tricks, pretty much any object on the map like a penny, nest, Groot walls, things like that, you're going to want to use your demon, placing your demon in corridors, doorways. They do a ton of damage and they regain you a lot of health. Her portals are also going to be so key in dodging ultimates, like a Jeff the Shark ult, even a Wanda ult, a Venom ult, and if you're playing somebody like the Punisher in his turret, using a demon on his turret will melt that thing almost instantly. So that's another good little trick. Magik pretty much goes pound for pound with almost any character with a few exceptions. I wouldn't really tangle with a good Bucky or Thor, an Emma Frost. Even a Mr. Fantastic can be a bit of trouble, but just play it smart. Everyone else I feel very confident in that 1v1. But then there's the classic Magik clone match, going up against another Magik on the other team. Should you engage that? If you feel confident in it, yes. But if the Magik is really good, and you guys are the same skill level, maybe the other Magik is even better than you can actually still get the better of them by baiting them into unfavorable matches. A lot of people have an ego in this game and they love the 1v1 when you're using the same character. I've had matches, I'll be honest, where I'm playing a completely better Magik than me, and I'm getting baited into 1v1s and losing. Then I start baiting them into 1v1s closer to my healers that's not even a true 1v1. I went from going 0-3 once in a game against a Magik like this to being MVP and that Magik ended up switching off. They did call me out in the chat for being a coward, but this is not a single player game. If I want to play 1v1, I'll go back to playing Super Smash Bros. Or Mortal Kombat. Those are my bread and butter games. I have no problem doing that, but Marvel Rivals is a 6v6. Don't buy into 1v1ing unless you're confident you're going to win. Being a better teammate is better and more of an asset than being a better single Magik player. That kind of goes for any main really. But when it comes to DPS mains, there's an ego there and they always want a 1v1. That's how I would approach it. That's going to be my Magik guide overall. I'm not a pro player or anything like that. I've been playing video games a long time. The only thing you can really do is just practice this character until you feel like it's second nature. Playing more games, comp, you'll get used to playing against different teams, having different team comps, how to approach certain team comps and how to approach the fight. There's only so much someone can tell you, you just have to practice and get used to it, feel it out. Once you master this character mechanically, it's all going to come down to game sense and opportunity. Don't get frustrated when you miss her dash. Even the best Magik players in the world miss it on a consistent basis, almost every game they play. Her hitbox is not friendly, so just reposition, take your time, pay attention to what you're doing, and reassess. If you're having a bad game and throwing, take a break from the character for a few matches. Get into the practice range and just work on it. Recognize little things like if you're offense or defense. Play more passively if you're on defense and brawl way more. On offense, you can be a little bit more risky and try to get a crucial pick. Recognize if you have good healers and if your healers need help. Diving the enemy backlines is not going to do much for you if your backlines are getting decimated. Magik, in my opinion, has some of the highest carry potential in the game, so it's definitely a character worth investing in. But overall, I hope this guide was helpful. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm probably going to be doing a Penny guide or Invisible Woman next. I want to make a guide for all the characters that I main and play to start. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this, and as always, we will see you all in the next one. Later.